Okay, it is book release day for Desizing the Church. We had hoped that this would be a live video, but it's as live as we can make it. We had some issues with going live, so this is a YouTube premiere. So if you're watching it somewhere around or shortly after 11 a.m. Pacific time on April the 2nd, you can put anything you want in the comments. I'll monitor that and I'll answer it in the comment section, but I won't be able to answer it live here in the personally myself, because we're not quite live because we had some issues. So anyway, here's what we're going to do in these few minutes that we have together today. First of all, I'm going to give you a quick overview about why I wrote this book, a little bit of what it's about. I'm going to give you some big news about a Desizing the Church series, mini-series within the Church Lobby podcast that we're going to do. I'll be interviewing some of the authors that I cite in the book. I'm going to let you know how to get an autographed copy of the book if you like, along with the folks that we've already put together autographed copies for that we're sending out today and tomorrow for those who are our regular partners. And I'm going to read a couple snippets from it as well so that you'll get an idea of what's being covered in this book. We are outside, so I know I'm hearing some stuff and you may hear some stuff occasionally. It's just the nature of being outside. It's a nicer setting. You can't control the sound as much. It's just what you live with. So let's take a look at this one at a time. First of all, why did I write this book called Desizing the Church? It's actually been on my heart and mind for a couple years, and here's where it came from. My first 4 books were to encourage small church pastors and to give small church specific resources. So the first 4 books are really designed to be read by people who are in small churches about how to do that well. But then a couple years ago, after writing those books, I started thinking, part of the struggle we have in pastoring small churches is that most of the resources we receive come from a big church context, and almost all of the messages we receive about church leadership is about how to become bigger. And I started asking myself, okay, instead of just addressing some of the symptoms, what might be some of the roots of the problem? Where did we get this idea that bigger is better? Where did we become, I'll use the word, obsessed with bigness in the American church especially, and I think that's been now, exported to other parts of the world as well, because this idea that everything has to be bigger in order to be better isn't necessarily a naturally occurring phenomenon. It had to have come from somewhere, this phenomenon. So I did the research, and I discovered a handful of things, and I write about them in the book. I do a really deep dive into the history of the church growth movement, and one of the first things I discovered that I unpack in the book is there wasn't a single church growth movement. There were actually a couple church growth movements. There's the one that some of us are aware of, but most of us are probably not aware of, that came from a man named Donald McGavran in the 60s and 70s, and that really came to life in the 80s and 90s. But before that, there was an American way of approaching things that was kind of obsessed with bigness. And when the two of them merged, they created something that most of us are not aware of. I certainly was not aware of it. And so I unpack this. So the first third of the book really is about this history of how we became obsessed with bigness. The middle third of the book then is why this is a problem. And the last third of the book, we try to offer some help and solutions to it. In fact, let me give you just a quick overview here of, this is the table of contents. Tell me, Veronica, when I'm close enough, is that a good spot so they can see it? They can't see it at all. So I'll just have to read it to you. Trust me, here's what's on the page. So we've got 4 parts to the book. First of all, the problem of bigness. Secondly, forgotten but not gone, the science and history of church growth. This is stuff that's fascinating to me and I believe will be really helpful to you. Part 3 is the consequences of our size obsession. And part 4, how do we start desizing? So I don't just present problems, I try to present some real solutions as well. So one of the first questions that are asked me when I use a word like desizing the church, if you look it up, I don't know that you'll even get a definition anywhere, because I think I made the term up. So here's how I define the term desizing. I give it two definitions. One is the process of assessing the value of something without obsessing over numbers. So it's not downsizing. It's not even right sizing, because there's no right size. It's about removing the obsession with numbers from the context. Not no numbers at all, but stop obsessing over it. Or my second definition is this. In the church, choosing to evaluate the health and vitality of a congregation, a denomination, or a movement without using attendance figures, percentages, or numerical comparisons as the primary consideration. Again, I'm not saying that we can't use numbers. I'm saying we shouldn't obsess over them, and they can't be the primary consideration that we use when we're trying to assess the health and the value of a congregation. So those are the key things that we're looking at here. All right. Now, let me give you just a little bit of a read from it so you get a kind of a feeling for it. From page 14, let me just give you this. The church's mission is bigger than numbers. Desizing is about disconnecting our sense of value from our size. Desizing is about getting off the relentless Sisyphean treadmill of rolling the boulder up one hill today only to roll it up again tomorrow. Numbers need to be used the right way, to inform us, not define us. Stop chasing the next numerical goal of attendance, finances, online engagement, all of it. You are not your numbers, neither is the church you serve. In the debate over church size, there are three primary options. 1, bigger is better. 2, smaller is better. Or 3, size doesn't matter. I propose a fourth option. Neither bigger nor smaller is better, but size does matter. However, it doesn't matter in the way we think it does. Church size matters in the way shoe size matters. It's not about one size being inherently better. It's about finding the right fit. So those are kind of the two premises of the book. This idea of we're going to stop obsessing with size and using it as the only or primary way that we consider the health and vitality of a church. And secondly, understanding that there are different sizes of church that are correct in different situations. But in order to get that, I've actually spent some time, and maybe not maybe, the hardest part of the book to write for me was not the history stuff. I love that. And it wasn't the solution stuff. I love being able to offer that kind of a positive thing. But part 3, the consequences of our size obsession, were the hardest thing for me to write about, because I have to challenge some presuppositions and I have to go against some common wisdom. For instance, one of the chapters is entitled Inevitable: Why the Christian Celebrity Culture Guarantees Moral Failure. Yeah, that's a strong statement. I'm not saying that if you are a Christian celebrity, it is guaranteed that you will morally fail. I'm saying that that Christian celebrity culture, all of the stuff around it, guarantees the kind of moral failure that we continue to see over and over and over again. I also spent some time in there talking about what the church growth movement got right, because I believe there's a lot of great things that happened from the church growth movement. But then I spent a chapter talking about where it went sideways and how there are some unintended consequences to what began as a very good thing about church growth. So it goes through all of that. But then the really big change that happens here is this. When I get to the last section, the book takes a turn towards the positive. And it ends with 3 chapters entitled Desizing the Pastor, Desizing the Congregation, and Desizing Evangelicalism. Yes, I go there, but I wait till the very end to go there. But the turn for that last section actually takes place with 2 chapters entitled this. Chapter 12, Integrity is the New Competence, and 13, Discipleship Fixes Everything. So those are the 2 keys. Those are my 2 favorite chapters of the book, because I believe they really do offer us the best way forward out of an obsession with numbers and out of an obsession with celebrity and into a better, healthier place. So first of all, integrity is the new competence. We cannot get out of the troubles that the American church is in today by getting better methods. We've got the best methods we've ever had so far. We'll only get out of this by increasing our trust with those who see us, by increasing our integrity. We've spent 40 years learning new techniques, and we've kind of assumed integrity. And we can't assume integrity anymore. Integrity needs to be brought to the forefront of who we are, what we do, and how we're going to move forward. And then secondly, discipleship fixes everything. I know that's a bold statement. In Small Church Essentials, I use the phrase, bigger fixes nothing. So this is kind of the alternate to that. Discipleship fixes everything. And I make that bold statement because I believe it's absolutely true. I dare you to think of a problem in the church that discipleship will not fix. Think about it, right? Finances, discipleship will fix that. Volunteerism, discipleship will fix that. In fact, let me do a short read from the book exactly about that. In Small Church Essentials, I wrote that bigger fixes nothing. If you take a small, unhealthy church and make it big, you now have a big, unhealthy church, and that's not better, that's worse. In the years since then, that axiom has proven to be truer than I realized. The fact that something is big or growing doesn't indicate it's good. We need a lot more information than numerical growth to make that determination. Thankfully, there's a truth on the flip side of bigger fixes nothing. Discipleship fixes everything. If you have a problem in a church, discipleship is the remedy for it. Divisiveness in the church, discipleship fixes it. Immorality, discipleship fixes it. Lack of leadership, discipleship fixes it. Immaturity, inadequate finances, bad theology, apathy, ineffectiveness, discipleship fixes all of that. Or to frame it positively, if there are biblical goals you want to reach, discipleship will get you there. Want a healthier church? Make disciples. People coming to Christ? Make disciples. Financial stability, raise leaders, deeper worship, greater community impact, make disciples, make disciples, make disciples, make disciples. As you get, it continues to go on. But then one thing I do point out in this chapter is this. The one thing discipleship is not guaranteed to fix is a church's size. Why? First of all, because size is not a problem to fix. And secondly, because there will be times when you have to make the choice between getting bigger or doing the right thing. Getting bigger or discipling believers. And sometimes if you choose discipleship, it will not be pro numbers. And not most of the time they're together, but every once in a while they're going to divide. So anyway, that's where the book makes a turn, and those are the two primary solutions that I offer to where we are in the church today. But as we get to wrapping this up here today, and thank you for being with me for this time. And again, if you're watching the premiere, you can put some questions or comments in the comment section, and I'll do my best to answer them during the comment time. And I'll even check in every couple of days if you add any questions or comments there later. But we've got a podcast series coming up. It starts 2 days from today. So it starts on April the 4th with a solo podcast by me where I spend a lot more time on the book and what the content is and what's going on. But then for the next several weeks, we're doing a weekly podcast rather than bi-weekly. And I'm interviewing some of the people that I cite in the book, including the first interview is going to be with Caitlin Beatty, who wrote this amazing book, Celebrities for Jesus. We talk about the Christian celebrity culture. After that, I interview Scott McKnight, who with his daughter Laura Barringer wrote this great book, A Church Called Tove. I also will be doing interviews with Wynn Collier, who wrote the biography of Eugene Peterson, Bob Smetana, Dave Gibbons, Dan Darling. And then we're going to do a podcast episode or two with first reactions to the books from some other church leaders as well, including Greg Atkinson, Drew Dick, Matt Steen, Sean Nemechek, and others. So I encourage you to go to the church lobby, subscribe to the church lobby podcast, and listen to it weekly over the next few weeks as we talk about the subject matter in this book from some of the people who inspired many of the quotes that are in this book as well. In addition to that, if you would like to get an autographed copy, that's what these are here, autographed copies that are going out to our partners and to our sponsors and to our friends who have supported us, you can get one as well. And the simple way to do that is go to carlbaders.com/support. That will give you information about what you can do and how you can support us financially. And as a thank you for that, we'll send you a free autographed copy of Desizing the Church right away. These copies will be going out to friends who live close by. These copies over here, plus a whole bunch more, will be going out in the mail today. So if you are a partner, if you have been supporting us monthly, yours is on the way. But thank you so much for supporting this ministry. Thank you for supporting Desizing the Church. According to Amazon, we've only got single digits numbers left, but I think Amazon may do that to make us feel like there's fewer copies than there actually are. We don't know. But we've got copies available for you. Go to Amazon or to Moody or to christianbook.com or anywhere you buy books, and you can pick it up today. And then comment on it. Email me. Go to the comment section or the contact form on our website, carlbaders.com. Let us know what you think of the book. Have your comments on it. If you're interested in a book club, we'd love to help you out with that with bulk copies as well. And if you ask nicely, I might even show up for an episode of your book club online and give you a chance to talk about it a little bit as well. All right? Thank you so much for supporting this ministry. Thank you for supporting the release of this book. Pick it up, hand it around. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you get a real blessing out of it. Thanks so much. Bye.